You're listening to the Second Mass Report, the Falling Skies podcast, and we are podcasting live in Rob's basement.
Yes!
Just like old times.
This never happened.
No,
did we record live once?
We did once.
Did we?
For season 3.
Oh, yeah, we did. All right, well...
And we took a picture of us holding our old sign and
yes.
all that. Okay. Hey, well, this podcast is for season 5, episode 6.
Yes.
It's called Respite, or Respite, depending on...
Respite.
I like to respite.
That sounds a little desperate to me.
Ooh.
You're really reaching.
Obey your thirst.
Oh, it's already started. You know what? There could actually be a fist fight over the puns in this situation.
Good.
All right.
Little pun run.
So, do you want to jump right in? You just watched it, right?
I watched it last night as the time of recording of this podcast.
Okay.
Well, I actually watched most of it before, but then I fell asleep watching it, and then so I kind of picked up.
For the Frank Stella biographer out there,
right.
You can get the full story.
Right, yeah. If you want to request a copy of the full podcast episode, you can write to Rob.
Yeah, no. So did you like the episode? I want to start there.
I did, and because more than one thing happened that I predicted or said in the previous podcast, I said, why isn't this happening? How come no one's thought of this? And then in this very next episode, all of a sudden...
Do you think they're listening to you?
You know what? I think they had several versions of episode 6 ready to go. Ones where, things may have happened and things didn't happen.
So whatever was going to satisfy Frank Stella the most.
Well, yeah, they listened to this podcast and went, okay, we got to go with version, 6C.
6C. All right. I was going to say 14.1 because it keeps growing and growing.
Well, I mean, there's only so much budget.
Are you going to ask me if I liked it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying a resounding no, but I didn't care for this episode. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to bust on it.
I'll bet you didn't.
Well, here's... And this is kind of what I'm feeling this season. And this exemplified it pretty well. So here was a self-contained story, Tom with this family, and we have the story arc with the kid and everything, right? Why, at the end run of this show, we have, 4 episodes left? Do we get this? This seems very strange to me. And it was like, I get this story, but it reminded me of the one. Remember the one, I think it was last season with the family, the Hillbilly Masons?
Yeah.
And we had the one shot, and you and I speculated, is something more going to happen with this? This is kind of cool. And then, of course not. Nothing happened with them. That's the same thing here.
Okay. So that storyline kind of annoyed you?
Yeah, it just seemed like a waste of my time.
What if Kyle had gone with Tom and stayed with him and the second master the rest of the series?
I think that would have been dumb too. We didn't need this character introduced. We threw away Brian at the beginning of the season and his sister.
Right.
It seems like we're just hey, we've got an idea for a story. Let's do it as a one shot and we're out. The other thing
and you think now is not the time for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And the other thing
I guess I didn't really think that through. I'm just I'm watching Falling Skies, and this is the kind of stuff that happens. It's all right.
The other thing is the storyline of Maggie. Getting her spikes removed.
Okay, and here's where I want to talk about the fact that I brought this up last podcast.
Okay.
And I said, how come, can Maggie just get her spikes removed?
You said that.
They used the Volm Tech to just put them in. They healed her. Now, let's take them out. It's like the end of your prescription.
They did address that slightly when they said it should heal, but there's a slight chance it won't. Okay. I don't know why they were keeping it in, but now we do. Anne's point was, we need you as a super soldier. Okay, Captain America, we're going to take away your powers because you just want to go back to wimpy Captain. No, they needed her to stay super until the series was over.
And I'm
okay with it. I don't have a problem with that.
If I could talk to Anne there, I would say, Anne, honestly, do what Maggie needs for herself, because
take a respite, Anne.
Okay, take a respite. Because if you need Maggie in top form, first of all, you need to make sure she's mentally healthy. You need to make sure she's not emotionally compromised.
Exactly.
she's not going to be the soldier you need her to be if she's off, smooching with Ben and can't control herself. Like, that's not going to work.
Well, and apparently that wasn't something she was into. Like, she was not happy that was happening. And that was something we talked about, too, throughout this season. Like, that weird age thing and how it seemed like they were close. That was driven by the spikes. Because she wanted those things out because she wanted to stop that. That's one of the reasons.
Right. And that's why, that's like the first time ever that I have like major respect for Maggie.
Okay.
And because I'm going like, how come no one has thought of this sooner? And I've said this multiple times on this podcast. It just seems like no one's treating this like the big deal that it is. No one's talking to them about it. I mean, there's this awful tension between Maggie, Hal, and Ben. But, like, no one seems to want to, like, resolve it. No one seems to want to address it. No one seems to want to say, like Tom or Ann or somebody step in and just say, hey, you know what, guys? Like, this isn't healthy. We got to figure something out here because we're at war. We got family drama going on.
It seems like everything is very isolated. That's another thing. Like, okay, every storyline is very isolated from the other storylines right now.
Some are, yeah.
And we get nothing with Pope in this one.
Right. We didn't see Pope at all in this episode.
Which we're building this story of Pope, which I'm like, okay, that's going to be the rest of our season, is this drive with Pope. Now, what are we going to see him in episode 9? Or does he not resurface until 10? And then Tom has to kill him and whatever? I mean, it seems like, they planted a seed, but why? You're in the 5th season. You're in the 5th and final season. Let's grab a storyline and push it hard.
Right, okay.
And the new aliens, not brought up. I think we can't go episodes without bringing those aliens up.
Okay.
It seems like everything's about the humans
And I
now.
didn't really think all this through when I was watching it. I was just kind of casually watching it. And then
am I changing your mind?
Now that you say all this, I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
Excellent.
Yeah.
A win for me.
Yep.
Hashtag Rob wins.
But also a win for me because Maggie got her spikes out.
Yes.
And I was like, the whole time I was like, yes, this is finally happening. Things are going to stop being like awful and crazy. And then there was that just scene with
Isabella?
with Ben.
Oh, yeah. When he's like,
confronts...
I love you. That one?
Yeah, that was so painful. I was like, Ben, why, Ben?
Well, because he's driven by the spikes still. Although when the spikes were taken out of
get
her...
your spikes removed, Ben. Like, something.
But when her spikes were removed, his drive to her should have changed. And that's what happened with her. As soon as the spikes were out, it put that barrier back up. Like, no, you're Hal's kid brother.
Yeah.
She didn't seem like, yes, she seemed like, yeah, I know, we couldn't control it. It's just what it was. And I think that Ben, like...
He was still under the influence.
Yeah, but she didn't have him in her anymore.
Right.
So why was he under the influence?
You're saying there shouldn't have been a connection.
Right.
Because I think the seed was already planted in his head and it grew. And Maggie didn't like it, and he maybe did or didn't either, but thought, like, if we lose this connection, then, like, it's over. Because it's just not going to be there anymore. And even though I'm going to remember, like, I don't know. And we haven't really seen Ben in love before. I mean,
Right.
So for him, that's going to be hard. And I'm wondering if he gets his spikes removed too. Is that going to kind of go away the same way it did for Maggie? Or is he just in love now because of this connection that they felt?
Well, and is he going to keep the spikes until the end of the series? I mean, is it just going to be what it is?
I don't know.
They need a super soldier, and that's what he is.
If I'm Ben, I'm going, I want these spikes removed now. Like, I just want to, like, yeah. Like, they feel like a curse now.
Yeah, kind of, but he knows that there's a tactical advantage to having them, and face it, he's Tom's son.
Yeah, but when your heart's broken, you don't really care about,
Frank, do we need to cuddle? We are in the same room.
Dude, when you asked me earlier, I paused, you're like, are you going to ask me? I was like... To the dance? Like, what?
Why did you go there?
Because I was like, because you just stopped. You're like, are you going to ask me? And I was like, ask you what?
If I liked it,
yeah.
Frank.
That's why I paused for a second. I was like,
yeah.
What? To dinner? Like,
to dinner. No, we invited you to dinner.
I kind of invited myself. If you'll remember last night's phone call.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to start somewhere, or do you want to just keep talking about?
There is a production value reason why we're in the same room together. It's not just a social thing.
Yes.
So we're very professional.
Frank's spikes brought him here. So
wow. All right.
So okay, this family. Let's talk about this family. You've got the old guy who is obviously Herschel from The Walking Dead.
Yep, Herschel.
You've got this family that's keeping it from their kids that there's an alien invasion. How exactly are they isolating them?
It's like the Amish and the electricity.
But, like the kid was okay. I can buy that they're shielding the younger kids. The teenager, though, he was gone by himself for a period of the day. Okay, we saw that there was a dead mech not really far from their house. How did he not find this and start asking questions about aliens and things? How is this kid isolated from it? Wouldn't he have seen stuff in the sky? I mean, it seems like there's stuff going on all the time. Tom flew a ship to the moon, and that wasn't very far from this location.
No,
wouldn't they have seen that?
All that. You're forgetting the initial invasion. Like, if you remember, like, the things they were saying in the first few episodes of season 1, like, there were skitters everywhere.
Yeah.
There were, like, and they said, like a lot of them had left after the initial invasion, but there were still, like, huge explosions and, like, I mean...
And how does this family not...
And Tom said that was only about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He said, like, 3 years ago.
How does this teenager not know?
So, I mean, yeah, so this teenager who looks to be, what, do we get his age?
15, 16 years
old. So, I mean,
old.
let's assume he was 12 at the invasion.
Yeah.
There's no way he could have missed that. There's no way he could have slept through the fireworks.
There's no way. Now, yeah, he could be homeschooled and they could be pretty isolated out there. But do you think that isolated?
Yeah, see, and as a homeschooler myself, I would have known if there were an alien invasion.
Yes. Absolutely.
When I was 12.
Frank, I've got news for you.
What?
Alien invasion happened when you were 12.
And my parents have been isolating me.
Yes, they've been isolating you. Those
this explains
spikes,
a lot.
Yes, those spikes you have are not natural.
Am I adopted?
Okay, Lexi. I'm sorry, Frank. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I have no response for you.
No. So this is why I was having a problem.
Yeah, and I get that. And see, now that I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, there are only like 4 episodes left after this.
This is a waste to do this here.
Yeah, it could have been a better episode with some more like Pope stuff, or some more of the alien, the new alien that we're like 4 episodes left in the series, and we still have kind of no idea what they are.
Yeah. Well, when this episode started and it showed Tom in the bed and she was there, it felt like it was that kind of dream state that those aliens keep him in. So I was thinking at first, like, oh, is this going to be some kind of created environment? Because at the very end of that last episode, we saw that alien thing grab him and fly off with him. I thought it was one of those new aliens. It wasn't. It was just some
and it turns out to be absolutely nothing.
Which is a waste, also, in my opinion.
But victory for Frank, because that's what I predicted.
Victory for Frank.
Let's not brush that under the rug.
No, you have so few. And it gets blown out of the sky or whatever happens to it. I think Herschel shot him.
Yeah.
And
I shot Hirsch.
He shot Hirsch. Is that like Han shot first?
What?
From Star Wars. Tell me you know what Star Wars is.
Just because I have no clue what you're talking about doesn't mean I don't know what Star Wars is.
They always say that when Han and Greedo shot at each other, when George Lucas went back and released the special editions, he changed it so Greedo shoots first because he doesn't want Han to look like a bad guy. But we all know Han shot first. Okay, and in this case, we know Herschel shot first.
I've never heard this story before. Like, this has never been something that I heard about George Lucas changing anything in this whole...
You didn't know about the special editions? How old are you, like 12?
I know about the special editions. I just didn't realize...
you were a homeschooled kid. They kept that from you.
I watched the special editions.
Did you watch the originals?
Yes, but I didn't notice that there was a change. It just, like, they
when
shot.
When this podcast is over,
died.
You're going to hand me your Geek Cred card? And I'm going to burn it in the grill.
My G card?
Yes. And I'll take your G money, too, as long as you're at it.
I don't have that.
No. All right. So and I don't want it to seem like I'm hating on it. I'm just
You're disliking on it.
It just seemed like unnecessary. We had this great setup with Pope. When this started, I thought, oh yeah, we're gonna see what happened to Tom. Pope's on a rampage. Pope's on a rope. It's gonna be crazy. Pope gets in the Pope-mobile. Do you think he's gonna get a Pope-mobile? So Skitters can't get in.
What are you
and they drive him down
talking
the street. He's in a big plastic thing. Hello, I'm Pope.
Then we can have Pope Man Begins.
Yes, he'll have gold shoelaces and a big Pope hat.
Before the Pope.
Maybe that's it. Maybe at the end, when the Skitters and all that's done, Pope becomes Pope. Tom becomes president. Pope becomes Pope. There'll be a separation of church and state because of Pope and Tom and their anger at each other.
If Pope's middle name is Paul, then it could be Pope John Paul.
Sure, it could.
Pope John Paul Pope.
Are you still working on that?
I thought it was a team effort.
No, it wasn't. That was all in your head.
Joke landed?
Joke landed like the Skitter that dropped Tom, shot by Herschel. Herschel shot first. Yes.
And who's on first?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Second mass.
Who's on second? I don't know.
So, okay. Second mass. Let's talk about the second mass.
Okay, because I don't know where you are in your notes. I don't have notes.
Please. My notes are a mess.
Well, good, because my brain is a mess, and I didn't even take notes, so we're on the same page.
Perfect.
Boom.
So, second mass.
Okay, first of all, what on earth was that they found in that place?
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Because what it looked like...
We're going to get to it. I know, it looks like... Oh, I had a funny joke when I was watching it, and I can't remember what it was.
Because when I was watching, I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
It looked kind of like a thing from the Masters of the Universe movie, but I can't remember exactly what that was.
Did you want to say something before
I do. So the second mass is on the move again.
As always.
And they end up holing up at a distillery.
Nice.
And the guy, what's his name? Kevin or Kyle. The guy who, in the last episode, was like...
Wait, Kyle?
Yeah, the guy who shot Weaver.
What?
His name is Kyle.
Kyle is the kid that Tom was with.
What?
Wasn't his name Kyle?
No, Kyle is the guy that shot Weaver that had the dead family in the other room.
What was that teen...
Teen mom you're thinking of.
What are you
Kiefer. That's Kiefer.
Sutherland?
I'm so amused by that.
Okay, what was that kid's name?
What kid?
The kid that we were just talking about.
Kyle. Oh, no, the kid with Tom.
That's what I just said.
Oh, his name is Kyle.
Ah!
Okay, wait a minute. I'm talking about the other guy.
Oh, now he's the other guy.
You know who I mean.
Not Kyle.
It's not Ben. It's not...
Hal?
No.
What are you talking about?
Remember the guy that tried to shoot...
I'm leaving.
Weaver?
No.
Okay, think back. We're going to step in the Wayback Machine, Frank. Okay? I'm going to make your spikes glow now. In a couple, like last episode, they went and Weaver and went into the building, and we thought Weaver was shot. And remember, there was that crazy guy in there, and they were all outside like, oh my gosh, there's this guy shooting at us. And Weaver went in, and he got shot by the guy.
Oh, yes.
Okay. His name's not Kyle. I thought it was.
Ugh.
But that guy, in the beginning of this episode, is now like Weaver's little buddy.
I didn't realize that's who that guy was. I went the whole episode going, who's that guy?
That's who it is.
All right.
The guy who runs up and he's like, oh, okay, I packed all your stuff, Mr. Weaver. There, Eddie Haskell. It's okay. I mean, it did.
That was that guy?
Yes, that was that guy.
What a little virgin.
Yeah, so can I tell you right now? This is why I was having some issues. Why? Okay, so that was another one-shot story, but that was a better one-shot story. But now we've got another character introduced in here.
And he's weird now.
He's weird. And now we're going to like him because he's not crazy? How about let him be crazy?
Was he the guy that found that thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So then we have that scene, and that guy, I don't know what to call him. We'll call him Eddie. Eddie finds this thing that looks like it's from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
And where on earth did he find it? Because it looked like it was like...
It was like in a bar.
It looked like it was in a desk.
I know, it was something in the ground.
It looked like he was sitting at a desk and he like pried part of it off or tore it open or something.
I don't think it was a desk. I think it was like a thing in this like barn, but it was up high, so it kind of looked like a desk. And it was kind of glowing through it. And he's like, "What's this?" And he opened it up.
That's the most random thing.
And it turns out it's a way for the s5e to communicate.
What does that even mean?
Right. Didn't we see them in the past communicate just by... Didn't they grab some little thing and then communicate with each other?
I thought he like grabbed dirt and like squeezed it together, and then all of a sudden it like glowed, glue, whatever the past tense of glow is.
Glowed.
Glue. Super glue.
Yeah. And that's how they communicated. Well, now they have this like...
Yeah, what the hell is that? Well, and
maybe that's like the intergalactic router.
All right, well, hold on a second, because what happened was in the last season when we saw those overlords communicating, they were...
You remember last season much better than you remember the last episode. I'm just going to tell you that.
No, I remember seasons like 1 and 2 better than anything.
Okay.
Probably because I've watched them the most amount of times. Anyway, point is, what happened last season is the show writers let us in on something that the second mass never saw.
What was that?
When we saw those two overlords communicating.
Oh, right.
We called it the Skype session in hell, I think. So that was, but this time, Weaver put his hand down there, which is a bad idea.
There's like 50 of them.
And all of a sudden he saw like a big group of them all like huddled and praying or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
because they're preparing...
And like, he was like, I'm not sure if it was just weird acting or weird writing or weird directing, but like that scene just felt so weird when he like crawled back in the corner and was like, there's overlords.
Yeah.
And they're communicating. And I was just like, what the heck?
Yeah. It was strange.
It was just a bizarre thing to find in a desk, and then all of a sudden
to find some random...
stick your hand on and then just act all weird, and I was like, what?
Well, and the fact
Who is
that
this guy?
We've seen them communicate in the past. Well, they even implied to it with the Brian episode that when the s5e was in their prison thing before Anthony shot it, that it was trying to communicate. So why did it need this big router thing? And let's say that they do. Let's say that is a router. Everything else, it needs to be on the ground in order for them to communicate. So this was just laying in groundwork for episode 10 of this season. We're going to see an invasion that has like 50 s5e in it. But here's what my prediction is. We think that's going to be this big, awesome battle. They're fish heads. They just stand there. So they're going to it's going to be like X-Files. Do you watch X-Files?
I've seen a few episodes.
Okay. Spoiler. But there's the men that are like the secret society that control everything. And they do this whole build-up. And you see them all in the same hangar at one point. And you're like, oh, yeah, stuff's going to go down. And then they blow up the hangar. And it's like, okay, well, they're out of the series.
Okay, but are they...
That's what they're going to do here. They're going to get all 50 together. Boom, invasion over. And then we're going to find out that, maybe the Volm aren't their friends. Or... maybe these weird alien guys are now here to invade now that you've gotten rid of those fish heads. They didn't like the fish smell, is what it is.
Hold on, though, because we don't know that they're together physically. We just know that they're communicating, and...
No, but they're going to end up physically. No, I think they are.
Weaver just saw them all... Weaver saw a vision of them all together, but who knows what he saw? I mean,
right,
he
true.
saw them... saw a vision of them
even
together.
If there's 50 of them and they're all communicating together because they're banding again, there's going to be something with that. I bet we're going to see them all together, though. I don't think it's going to be... because then you got to take out 50 different sects with 1 million skitters and all this. No, I don't think that's the case.
And the skitters don't really seem to be jiving with the overlords the way they used to be. I mean, like, they're not in formation. They're like...
Well, that's because they said when they kill an overlord in an area, whatever skitters are there don't have an overlord leading them. So that's why they've been acting funny and weird. But we just saw there's plenty of overlords, and they would know if one of them died because they're psychically linked. Why not send another one to the area? I mean, Dunkin' Donuts gets a new manager if the one dies. Right, Frank? Am I right?
I wouldn't know.
You know what Dunkin' Donuts is.
I know what Dunkin' Donuts is.
That's one!
I don't know their policies on managers dying.
I thought you had the handbook. Okay, so
that's not
Tom
even
tells... Let's go back to the family. They tell Tom they want him to keep this a secret. It seems like Tom was hell-bent on showing this to this Kyle kid. So he tells the kid, The kid wants to go off to war like his dad did. This all seemed like plot device to me. And then at the very end, she gives him that book. Do you know what that book is?
I didn't get a good look at it.
Okay. It was written by a French author, and I know it's about, like, it's like his view of American democracy. It's an old book, but I don't know
all this.
Because I looked it up when I watched the episode originally.
Oh, okay.
But now I can't remember what any of it was. Other than he was a French guy who, like, wrote about American democracy, and it's one of these things that, like...
What a random assortment of things to remember, not just the title of the book.
Oh, it's like Tarot or something like that. It's something like that. I'll call it The Unexpected Journey.
It would be.
That would be a Hobbit joke for you. Thank you, Frank. Or There and Back Again.
The Hobbit's Tale by Bilbo Baggins.
Yes. So...
Or just The Hobbit.
So, because he got that book, Tom makes the decision that we can't act like the aggressive Americans and just go off to war. We need to be smarter. You need to stay here and protect this family. Did you feel a little schmaltzy in this scene when, like, they're driving off and he's hugging his mom? I was like, no, he's a teenage kid. Even if he decides to stay, he'd still be like, you know, I really wanted to go, but, you know, I mean, like, kids don't, except in Hollywood versions of kids.
I'm sorry, did you say schmaltzy?
Schmaltzy. And the two,
is that a word?
Yeah, it is.
No.
It's more than glue.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
It glued.
Shut up.
And then how about the other two kids? The other two kids are like mutes. They didn't say anything. They're just like extras, and then they just hug their mom a lot.
What?
The two kids, did you notice she had two more kids?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, because Herschel, it was Herschel, the mom, the two little kids, and Angry Kyle. And the two little kids are just like steeped in her world. But they would have seen stuff too. Kids see airplanes. Wouldn't they see alien ships flying overhead and something going to the moon and blowing it up?
We've already addressed this. I mean, yeah, it was...
I'm just so confused.
They would have noticed.
I'm so confused.
All right,
it would have worked better for me if it had been a dream.
Schmaltzy, Yiddish, of, pertaining to, or characterized by schmaltz, overly emotional, cheesy sentiment, grandiose passion, usually accompanied by effusive or overly demonstrative gesticulations.
And Rob for the win. Schmaltzy. You know what, Frank? This is going to be, at the end of this podcast, we're going to go through the movies you haven't seen, the words you haven't known, the food you haven't tried. What else do we have to get?
Rob, I'm sorry, I don't speak Yiddish.
Oh, come on. Homeschool fail.
Mom?
Yeah.
No, she's listening to this right now, I tell you what.
Is
Mom,
she?
why didn't you teach me Yiddish? I would have known what schmaltzy meant.
I don't know Yiddish. I know schmaltzy.
I think I'm being schmaltzy right now.
You are being schmaltzy. And a bit of a schmuck.
Okay.
You want to look that one up?
No.
So, okay. I got another one we didn't talk about.
But I agree with you. That was kind of weird. I thought it was schmaltzy that the kid, like, backed out, or Tom backed...
Which means it's a one-shot story. It's done.
I thought it was, like, his bags were packed. He was ready to go. I mean, he spent the whole night having thought to himself, like, I'm going with this guy. I'm going to war against the aliens. And then all of a sudden, Tom's like, you know what, dude? No.
Here's a book. You stay here. And the kid's like...
After all my speeches to you about, like, this is a mega mech, son. You need to know what's out there. You know what, dude? You got chores to do.
Yeah.
Get back in the house.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was, like, that was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I would expect it more to be like The Patriot. Like, the kid goes off to war and fights, and it's like... But you know what? We've only got 5 episodes or 4 episodes left. They can't do that. All they could do is have him go to war and get killed immediately. And
I think he could have played a role in the next handful of episodes. Probably not a big thing where he was.
We
he
still
became
have
a main
Hal
character.
and Ben. We haven't even seen Matt except like walking through, going, "Hi guys," and then that's it. This has not been a Matt season at all. We have Pope and Anthony. That's got to be dealt with. We've got Anne. We've got all these things that still are hanging out there that could be dealt with, and that's why I'm saying we don't need new characters introduced and then using them for one episode.
Well, speaking of new characters, what are we gonna make of Hal's new Girl Scout?
Isabella?
Friend? Yeah. I mean, she didn't die, so we might see her.
Yeah. You know what? I think she's part of the we're gonna make sure every main male character has a female character at the end of
You
this
think
series.
she's gonna end up with Ben then, or what?
No, I think she's gonna end up with Hal, and I think Maggie's gonna be left out in the cold.
Yes,
I do, and I think that's a wrong choice, but I think that's what's gonna happen. Either
Except
that,
now that I kind of like Maggie.
either that, or Isabella's gonna get killed, or Maggie's gonna get killed. I think Hal's gonna get killed, but maybe not. Maybe Ben gets killed.
Wow, that would suck.
Well, because he's all depressed. He turns into emo Ben, and he goes out.
He kills himself.
I don't like it. And he gets attacked. He's like, I'm not even going to use my spikes. He puts on a Cure song, gets all emotional.
Nice, do it.
Puts on some black eyeliner.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I like where this is going.
Yep.
Dude, that would be...
I'll tell you why
That'd be
Matt's
the
not going to die,
wildest
because
thing.
Matt has been inconsequential this season. There's no emotional weight to Matt dying right now. Matt dies, and it would just be like, oh, I forgot he had a young son.
Matt can't die. He's too cute.
No, Matt's not going to die. If a Mason's dying, it's Hal or Ben. I'm guessing Hal.
You've been guessing Hal, but you just said it might be Ben.
Well, that's because of what just happened.
Because
Because he could go emo.
Wait, what if Maggie dies?
Once again, I think Maggie dies. Hal ends up with Isabella. It makes it clean.
and Ben's still depressed.
I think Isabella's more likely to die, and Ben is likely to die.
So you don't see nobody dying, Maggie ending up with Hal, and Isabella ending up with Ben.
No, why would that be?
I think Matt could end up with the girl from the hospital that we haven't seen in like 4 episodes.
Another episode or character that we've had introduced that
Yeah, it could be 3 wives for 3 brothers,
instead of 7 brides for 7
whatever
brothers.
it's called. You want to know
You're
what
right with 3 and 3.
You want to know what I?
Right now it's 4 and 3.
So does that mean I get to take a walk?
No, wait a minute. How is it 4 and 3? No, there's still Maggie, Isabella, and whatever.
Well,
Dead girl.
It's funny you should say that because I still miss Karen.
I know you do. She's too busy on Once Upon a Time, although she was only on that for like 1 season.
Ha!
Yep.
Come back.
Do you know who she was on Once Upon a Time?
I didn't watch it.
Cinderella.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now you're interested.
Hmm.
Now I gotta watch that show for 1 season.
I might have to
Watch that.
find that slipper and
Oh,
return it to Karen.
okay. Yikes.
What's her name? What's her name? Jessie?
Ventura.
No.
Schnapp or something.
What?
Something like that.
Shram.
Yeah,
Jessie Schramm.
I was closer than you.
Schnaps.
You said Ventura. All right, so is that it? Did we talk it all out? Oh, no, we
Pretty
didn't.
much.
The last thing is Hal and Isabella and Tom get back to the camp. They're all excited to see him.
Oh, dude, the funniest
And
line.
Maggie comes
The
up.
funniest line in Falling Skies history was when Tom and Weaver met again, and Tom goes, "Oh, hey," and Weaver's like, "What happened to you?" Tom goes, "Got shot," and,
Yeah.
and Weaver goes, "Yep, I got shot too."
Yeah. That was good.
It's just such weird humor, but it was so perfect.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, and Maggie kind of sensed there was something with Isabella, but
And Isabella was making awkward faces, like,
Yes.
"Oh,
yeah,
tattooed girl,"
Which
there
tells
you
me-
are."
I've got so many different ways this could go. I just don't know, but I almost don't care. I want to get to the big alien fight, get this over with, do your thing.
We got 4 episodes left.
What if the next 2 are standalone throwaways?
They run into an Amish family.
Oh, no. And now it's a Matt-centric episode where he lives with an Amish family for an episode.
Dad, I want to grow a beard.
Right. And then they just do like Witness, only with Matt.
What?
Oh, no, Frank. Witness with Harrison Ford, where he lives with the Amish.
I've never heard of anything
You need
like
to
this.
see this movie. It's fantastic.
What?
Yep, it's fantastic.
I never heard of this.
I can't do any jokes about it then because you just won't know what I'm doing.
I knew something around here was a mish.
Yeah, I think
Quote.
it's you.
Quote Stewie.
Yes. Is that it? Did we finish?
I hope.
All right. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, we should also talk about the ways that you can reach out to us.
Okay.
And we can, have some interactions with the fellow Falling Skies fans. What's the email that we've been going to this season?
Just go to the main one. Go to southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. That goes right to me, and I pass it right on to Frank.
And
I share it with you, Frank.
And I may or may not have.
That's right. And then our Twitter is Second Mass Pod. And I also tweet from @rsouthgate. Frank, what do you tweet from?
My Twitter handle is @DJFrankStella. But don't forget that you can also find the podcast on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook and
iTunes.
Yes.
If you're not listening to us on iTunes,
website,
isn't iTunes kind of like the go-to that you want people to like rate us and stuff?
Well, yeah, iTunes. If we can get ratings on there, if you like the show, please give us ratings on iTunes. That really helps other people find it, and it shows there's a community behind it, shows interest. It just really helps us out. iTunes is the best place for that, but any place that you listen to the show, rating and reviewing us really helps. Plus, you can go to our website where we have all the past episodes. That's something I just figured out today. iTunes and some of these others cut off the earlier episodes sometimes on some of our shows. So if you want the complete series, you got to go to our website, which is southgatemediagroup.com. There's a button icon for every single show. Just look for Second Mass Pod, click on that, and you're good to go. Is that it? Oh, and we said we can send emails, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. I'm done.
All right, well then, there you have it. The Second Mass Report Falling Skies podcast is a production of the Southgate Media Group. And until next episode, stay vigilant, stay active, stay brave.